there's a description of these dogs of like every dog that was a mayor, and Lucy Lou is the funniest one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna read a couple of the sentences out of this because I thought it was pretty funny. Elected 2008, Lucy Lou is a red and white border collie who has lived her whole life in Rabbit Hash. She broke the glass ceiling in 2008 as the first female to be elected mayor there. She was preceded by Goofy, the first canine mayor, and Junior, the first black mayor.
I love it. I
Our black
love it.
lab. And then running on the popular campaign slogan, the bitch you can count on.
Hello and welcome to Let's Boop Snoots.
My name is Vero,
And my name is Heidi. And today,
and
and
we're gonna boop snoots.
we are totally going to boop Snoots. Our last episode was a little heavy. We've done heavy ones here and there, delving into the variety of topics around Les Doges. So we decided to keep it light this week with some of our favorite funny or cute little dog stories from the dogs that we know and love.
Aw.
Aww.
Some funnies.
Before we start hitting the stories there, though, I'm going to start with a different story. My dad dropped by this morning, and he frequently takes my dogs to a dog park close by. We've been going to it for years. It's called Bruce Pitt. It's in the Ottawa area. It
Boots
was
pits.
Boops Pits, and I've been going there for years, and it's a nice park. It has like a big, huge exterior that's fenced in for the most part, so your dogs are somewhat safe. But it's quite a large area, and I can remember it was unfortunately hit by a tornado 2 years ago. And it devastated like
Yeah.
the forest area of it and ruined a lot of the fencing and stuff, but it's slowly like it being put back together by a lot of City of Ottawa people, but also like volunteers and stuff too, because that park is so frequently used. On a beautiful sunny Saturday, you won't even get a spot in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So when I first started visiting there, I can remember doing the full exterior perimeter, like walk of the place, which is like, I want to say 2 to 3 kilometers. And on one of the fences, there was this, I think I described this in a previous episode, actually. There was all these dog tags on it, and and there was this poem, and I forget what the poem was, but it's about like your dog passing on and like, don't be sad for them. And it was all the dog tags of dogs that had passed away. And
Oh.
unfortunately, that got lost in the tornado. But people have recently started posting things again. So, all to say that this morning, my father stopped by to pick up the dogs to take them to the park. And he called me downstairs and he said, I'm going to hang this in Bruce Pitt. And I said, oh, what is it? So he had found this poem and he framed it and is going to hang it on the fence. So here's the poem.
Oh.
The canines once had a doggy party. They all traveled from near and far. While some dogs flew in by airplane, some dogs went by bus, train, or car. They all went into the hotel's lobby and they signed the visitor's book. Then each one hung his bum and his tail upon a separate bum tail hook. Now, there was one dog who wasn't invited, and this really aroused his ire. So he rushed into the banquet hall and loudly barked out, "Fire!" This got the dogs so frightened they had no time to look, and each one just grabbed a bum and tail from off the closest hook. It is truly a sad story, for it is a very difficult chore to wear another dog's bum and tail that you have never worn before. That is why when dogs now meet in the park or over a bone, each sniffs the other dog's bum and tail in hopes that he might have found their own.
Oh, that is so cute. Oh, I love that.
Isn't that cute? So it was so appropriate too, because when we got our first dog, Officer Scraps, and my dad started taking him to Bruce Pitt for the first time, my dad was like a kid in a candy store. Like, for a guy who was like, used to dogs being used as tools, like working on farms and stuff. He was like,
Yeah.
he's like, you should have seen him. he sniffed about at least 100 butts today. Like, you'd always like announce, like he would announce the state of Bruce Pitt by the amount of bums that Scraps sniffed during their walk. He'd be like,
Aw.
oh, it was crazy. He sniffed like 200 bums today. 200 bums. So
Aw, that
I
is
thought it
so
was
cute.
appropriate that he found that poem, and appropriate that it be hung in Bruce Pitt, one of the
Yeah.
major bum sniffing areas in town.
Aw, that's cute.
Yes, I like it. All right, you got some stories? I got some
I got some
stories.
stories. I found some stories online that I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Some of it funny, some of it's kind of like, really?
Should we do a back and forth?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So in Australia, there is
Hmm.
this lady that found a puppy in her backyard,
Hmm.
a very young puppy. It had some wounds. Did you?
Oh,
I feel like you're looking at me like you know this already. Do you know
I
this
don't.
already?
I
No?
don't. I
Okay.
don't.
So the puppy had some wounds. So she brought the puppy to the vet after posting pictures of the puppy online. And, people were like, oh, maybe you should like bring him to the vet since you like found him in your backyard. Brought him to the vet, dealt with the wounds. They did a DNA test. And this puppy came back as 100% dingo.
What?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a
So
puppy, it
it
was a
was
wild
eagle.
dog.
Yeah, it was eagle wounds. So an
Oh
eagle
my God.
dropped a dingo in this lady's backyard. The
What?
pictures are so cute. This dog
Oh,
is so cute. Well, this dog, this
this
dingo.
dingo.
The dingo ate my baby. And then she
Oh
had
my
this
God.
baby, and the dingo
Yeah.
ate the baby. um, so this dingo has an Instagram handle. It's Wandi, WANDI underscore dingo. So now he's at the Dingo Discovery Sanctuary, and he's part of a breeding program to grow the alpine dingo population.
Oh my God.
So he's an alpine dingo, which is even more rare. Um, Apparently, a lot of them get killed because they think that they're wild dogs, and they're rare now because there's a lot of procreation between dingo and dogs.
But I wonder, like, if the fires in Australia affected them too. I know
That
koalas was
yeah.
like a big, huge, like, species issue, and so I wonder if how the dingoes were affected. He's very cute. I just looked him up on the Insta.
Yeah.
Oh, Wandy, you're so cute. They look like Shiba Inus, kind of.
Yeah. Like I would like I don't
I would,
know.
if
Like
somebody if
he
an
looks like a
eagle drop
dog.
yeah, if an eagle dropped a dingo in my backyard, I probably wouldn't even take him to the sanctuary. I'd be like, I'll keep this dingo, thank you very much.
Let's pretend we didn't do that DNA test.
Ah, that's funny. That's a good use of the DNA test. We were talking about that at work the other day, and people were saying how nuts they think it is to do the tests for their dogs. But I guess if you found a random dog before taking it in, you would want to know, like, is this a Great Dane or is it like
A
a
wolf.
Chihuahua?
A wolf.
Oh my God. Okay, so my story is about my husband's first dog growing up, Bowie. Bowie was a oh my God, I'm like having a brain fart right now.
Border collie.
Border collie. I'm glad you know about my husband's like
You're
history with
welcome.
dogs. So border collies are herding dogs, right? So Bowie used to chase the kids around the pool, and like, if you wanted to drive Bowie nuts, like, and it drove their neighbors nuts, and the kids always thought they were hilarious. And so one of their closest neighbors, they're still there to this day. Um, Tom next door, he would always go, "Shut that dog up!" But the kids thought it was so fun to run around the pool and make Bowie go like berserk trying to get them inside the pool. And she would run and nip at their heels and bark, 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 bark until they were all in the pool, and then she'd be like, "Good," and lay down like, "I've done my
My
job."
job is done.
So this one evening, they were all having a swim, and the swim ended, and people were out having, eating a barbecue or whatever by the patio and stuff like that. And the night was sort of ending, and they started bringing stuff in, and Bowie wouldn't come in, and they were like, where the heck is Bowie? And so they went outside, and there was as anyone who has a pool knows, that you get like different animals and stuff that fall into your pool, right? Like squirrels fall in there sometimes, and you might get
Yeah.
some mice and stuff. But there was this frog, and it was a dead frog, but it was at the stairs, like it had floated up to the stairs. So it looked like it was sitting there, and Bowie was just having a full on stare down with this dog. Like she was like, "Move, frog, I dare ya. I'm gonna eat ya. Like move, frog, I dare." But the frog was dead. So she
Oh, the
stood
frog
there.
won.
Oh, the frog won because Bowie was there like 35 minutes later,
No
staring the frog
way.
down still. And finally they were like, Bowie, like they had to like knock the frog over and be like, come inside. But she stood there
No
for
way. 35
35
minutes.
minutes staring this dead frog right in the eyes. I mean, she's smart, but not that smart, I guess. Anyways, I thought that was a
Should have
cute little
poked it.
story.
At least she didn't eat it because I think they're poisonous, right?
I think so. I think it can make them like froth at the mouth and be like, yeah, super nasty. Yeah. Yep, 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 yep. All right,
Okay.
what you got?
My next story that I found, I'm sure you've seen this dog online. It's pretty recent. It's the ice skating dog.
Hmm.
Have you seen
No, I
him?
haven't. I have not
No?
seen him.
Benny, the ice skating dog. He's a yellow lab. I've seen videos of him. So his owner, Cheryl Del Sangro, Del Sangro, saw a picture of Benny online in a shelter in Utah, and he was going to be euthanized the next day. So she arranged with the Las Vegas Lab Rescue Organization to take him in,
Hmm.
and she adopted him. And he's apparently
Oh.
very, very smart. He knows 100 tricks, 300 words. Smart cookie.
Smart little
Uh,
cookie.
so, so a friend and photographer for the Bark Gallery. His name is Rick, and I don't know if I can pronounce his last name right. Vierk Vierkand
Hmm.
had the idea of putting Benny on the ice. And they wanted to make a video to cheer on the Vegas Golden Knights from the NHL.
Oh.
So they went on the ice, and Benny followed Cheryl everywhere. And then Cheryl had the idea of combining her two passions, so skating and Benny, because Cheryl was a ice skating instructor before.
Oh.
So she created these little ice skates for Benny
No, no.
for his front paws,
Oh my god,
and
it's
he
so cute.
skates.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
let
he
me look.
appeared at an NHL game in November 2019. So it's been, yeah, I thought it was more recent, but I've seen the videos recently. And together they help out through Spectrum on Ice. So
Oh,
they help children with autism to get on the ice. And they also have a presence with the Animal Foundation and Nevada SPCA.
I love it when people just like take something like that and run with it and like literally like just do all these like super cool things that like get a lot
Yeah,
of attention, you know? Like it's so deserving. I love it. It's so cute. Inspirational.
it is. And then, yeah, he has like little ice skates on his front paws, and he actually can jump over stuff. And he does like a crossover too.
Oh no, he doesn't. Really?
Yeah.
That's so freaking cute. Oh my god.
He is on Instagram. I don't have his handle, but if you just Google Benny the ice skating dog, he's a yellow lab. I'm sure you will find him.
Oh my god. So cute. So cute.
So, so cute.
I feel like your stories are like these super like media worthy like inspirational ones, and mine are just like these little goofy stories from like the dogs that I know.
Well, I was trying to like think of funny dog stories like Wiggum, and I didn't I didn't really have any.
I know. Well, Wiggum is so like Wiggum is just funny. Period. There's no one particular story. His whole personality is funny.
Yeah,
Wiggum Legum.
Wiggum Legum. So yeah, I didn't have any like or nothing that like really haha worthy that I
Yes.
haven't told already.
Well, and some of these I have told already, but they're just so good that I have to share them again. like this next one coming up right now.
Ooh.
You know this one, Becky and the Cupcakes.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna tell it again just because I feel like it's like worthy of a funny dog story. Actually, do you want to know what? I'll tell a different one.
Ooh.
The long and short. I've got two then of Becky, and they're both kind of gross, but I'll tell this first one, which I don't think I told before. So, when we first got Becky, my dad was, of course, shocked and surprised that we got a second dog, but we got her because our younger son at the time, Scraps, was getting a little bit older, becoming more of a senior dog. Our young 2 year old at the time was doing all the things to like obsessed with the dog and nonstop touching and not, he wouldn't pull his tail, but he would like, go to him while he was eating and just like Scraps was so patient with him, but we were like, let's get a younger dog that can tolerate like this 2 year old a bit more and give Scraps a break. So we got Becky. So the first time our family would always celebrate Thanksgiving up at our cottage, and my dad would go up there and make a big meal, and my brothers and my sister would come, and everybody up there, a big old party at the cottage. So my dad at that point had been taken Scraps had been his cottage companion. Like he would always take Scraps. So, but Becky, he was a little like unsure of. So my dad had been cooking the turkey, and he takes the turkey giblets and he makes like he boils them, so makes like this giblet juice that he uses then to make like the gravy with. So he had made this giblet juice like in the morning, like boiling it and stuff like that, and had it in this like sort of milk container, like a 1 liter like plastic container, and my dad placed it out on the deck. It's coming to turkey time, and my dad comes to get his giblet juice for the gravy,
Uh-oh.
and the 1 liter plastic container is still standing in its exact position, but not a drop of giblet juice inside. Like not a
Oh.
drop. So my dad like loses it. He's like, "You're you're Becky. You're Becky." It's like now like his best friend. He like loves Becky so much. Your Becky ate all the giblet juice. I said, Dad, how do you know it was Becky and not Scraps? He goes, well, Scraps wouldn't dare. and, and I was like, how could you be so sure? So anyway, so later on that night, we like, because Becky was new, like my dad kept Scraps at the cottage and we were taking Becky back home with us. So I'm not kidding you when I say we were a block away from our house, and then you just heard Becky in the back seat. Like it literally made like a
Oh
vomiting
no.
noise, and the smell in the car was putrid,
I
and
bet.
we were just like, no.
And
it
then
was like
everybody else puked.
it was like, well, thank God we only had to like sustain it for like a block because we had to get out, but it's like dark, our kids are young, we're trying to get them into the house and to bed, and then having to come back out and clean this like nasty dog vomit giblet juice. So
Oh.
I think like at that time, and it might be like way back in my Facebook post somewhere, but I did a dog shame. Like with her,
Oh
and
yeah,
she
yeah,
has such a
yeah.
shameful face too. And it said like I ate all the giblet juice like for the turkey dinner at the cottage, and she has her like very depressive hound face on, like.
Oh.
But yes, the cupcake story was a very similar instance where I accused my husband of eating the cupcakes that I had made for my son's birthday party. And once we arrived at the birthday party, which was being held in a backyard, Becky started vomiting white cupcakes all over the lawn. So alas, we found the culprit.
Oh, Becky.
Oh, Becky. Oh
Oh,
my
Becky.
God, Becky. Oh my God, Becky.
Oh my God, Becky.
I got a pillowcase for our couch that says, oh my God, Becky.
Oh,
And
that's
she
cute.
sleeps on it.
Oh, Becky.
All right.
Becky Boo.
Becky Booze. Over to you, Missy.
Okay, my next one is pretty funny. You might have heard this
Okay.
before. I keep thinking that people hear about this, but maybe I have too much time on my hands and I Google random stuff. There
There's
is
probably like no
a
one else Googling dog stuff as much as you and I like right now. There might be, but.
there might be, probably not. There is this small town in Kentucky
Mhm.
called Rabbit Hash,
Mhm.
and their mayor is a dog.
I did hear about this.
Yes. Since
Yep.
1998, the mayor
Mhm.
has been a dog. Um, so, why? So, they pay $1 everybody, so this was like the first election. I don't know if the price went up, but people pay $1 to vote at the election, and that money is used, like the election is used as a fundraiser because they have a lot of like maintenance to do inside the small town. So they use that money
Oh, okay. I
for
was
all
gonna
that
ask.
stuff. So
I was like, is it going to the SPCA or is it going to the town of Rabbit Hash?
to the town of Rabbit Hash. Um, so yeah, I think they want to keep like politicians out of it. So there was an election in 2006, and there
Hmm.
was actually a pig named Lulu and a donkey named Piggins that were candidates for the elections.
I love it.
And, and this guy, so there's also YouTube videos about this, and this guy on the YouTube video says, when you talk about politicians, they're either like a smart ass or a dumbass, and he's like talking to the donkey. So that was pretty funny. So yeah, they want to take like the human element of real politics and show that everybody out of sorry, they want to take the human element out of
Politics.
politics to show that everybody can get along. The first mayor, I believe, was in 1998. Was named Goofy. He was a mixed breed. He didn't serve a full term. He passed away.
Oh, Goofy, no.
I know.
The town of
And
Rabbit
then
Hash needs you.
I know. The second one was named Junior in 2004. He was a black lab. And then there was the third mayor was named Lucy Liu, and she served 2 terms, so 2008 and 2016. She's a red and white border collie.
Oh my
Now,
God.
there is this website that talks about them. It's Rabbit Hash, HISTSOC.org. So it's like history, I don't know, society.org. There's a description of these dogs, of like every dog that was a mayor. And Lucy Liu is the funniest one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read a couple of the sentences out of this because I thought it was pretty funny. Elected 2008, Lucy Liu is a red and white border collie who has lived her whole life in Rabbit Hash. She broke the glass ceiling in 2008 as the first female to be elected mayor there. She was preceded by Goofy, the first canine mayor, and Junior, the first black mayor.
I love it. I
A black
love it.
lab. And then running on the popular campaign slogan, "The bitch you can count on." This
Oh my
is so
God.
awesome.
I love it.
And then the fourth mayor was named Bryn. Her full name is Bryneth Paltrow, and Paltrow PAW. So for Bryn, it says Mayor Lucy Liu said that she has been honored to serve for the past 8 years. Through the course of a tense evening of voting, she sniffed the butts of all the candidates and has given her approval to the mayor-elect Bryn.
Oh my
So this
God.
is like their descriptions are pretty funny.
I love it.
So she was in 2016, and I don't know if there was some. Yeah, so I guess that would be until 2020. And now the current mayor is Wilbur, the
Wilbur. Yeah.
French
Yes, I just like looked it up.
Wilbur, the French bulldog, and
Hmm.
his slogan is "Vote for Wilbur. He's all ears." And he had an inauguration in January.
I love
uh,
this. Whoever
yeah,
started this is brilliant and I love it.
yes, I love it too. I think it's awesome. If you go
Boop
on their
to Rabbit
website,
Hash.
yes, there's like YouTube videos about this. It's awesome. Good for them.
I love it. I want to interview them about the process. Is there like a vice mayor in the event of death, such as like poor Goofy?
So
You know?
Bryn here. Bryn here in her description, it says Bryn was elected as mayor of Rabbit Hash, Kentucky in 2016. In an unprecedented move, the Rabbit Hash Historical Society gave official positions to the first and second runner ups, Bourbon and Lady, as ambassadors of Rabbit Hash. So,
Mm,
yeah.
mm,
So, in case
mm.
Bryn is not available, then the ambassadors can fill in.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah,
We
I love
shall,
it too.
maybe one day we can visit the town of Rabbitash.
Hmm.
All right,
That
the
would be
next.
awesome. And meet the mayor.
Oh my goodness, definitely. Have a little paw shake.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Discuss
You think
some
it's like a strong.
politics. PAW. So funny. So funny. So the next story that I have, um, it's a couple of little stories, and I think it just shows how sometimes we get these dogs that have little quirks and stuff that just make you laugh. There's like quirky dogs out there where they have like quirky little habits and like quirky little things that they do. So, close friend of our family that used to spend quite a bit of time at my mother-in-law's house had a little Shih Tzu named Carl that he named after one of his favorite psychologists and theorists, Carl Rogers. So Carl was this little black and white Shih Tzu. Carl Carl was like, have you seen videos of the little Shih Tzus where it's like they put beer cans around them and they are like totally lost and they don't know how to get out?
Oh, no.
No, you've never seen those? There's
No.
like there's videos where like they literally just take like pop cans or whatever, make a big square, and the dog just sits there and like is like trapped. It's like it might as well be a crate or a cage because they're like,
Oh.
I don't know how. I don't know how to get out.
Oh.
So I can remember this one night we were sitting in the living room and there's a door frame with a room just right next to it, but the type of flooring changes. Okay,
Okay.
so on the floor in the living room it's like hardwood floor, and then at the door frame and beyond it's tile floor. So I don't know if it had something to do with the texture or whatever, but we had a little toy with Carl, so I'm facing the door frame and I throw the toy into the tiled room, and Carl would walk straight in, pick up the toy, and then he would back out, like back up until he was on the hardwood floor and then do a 3-point turn. So he'd go like out the door and then face me and bring the toy back. And every time I threw the toy, he did
Oh my
this.
God.
He would go walk straight into the room and then back up like beep, 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 beep. He would do a 3-point turn and then walk towards me. We did this
So
for like,
weird.
it was so weird.
Was it a big toy?
No, it was like a tiny little like cloth bone or whatever that was like not that much bigger than the size of his mouth. So it was just so weird. I remember we were just laughing because we were like, "What is with this dog, man? Like, what is going on here?" But I don't know if it's a small dog thing, or I don't know if it's a small dog
Maybe.
thing or what. I don't know. Maybe it's a Shih
Because I
Tzu
feel
thing
like, yeah, maybe. I
because
don't know.
they're
Maybe
pretty
if the toy
quirky.
was bigger, they would think maybe I can't turn.
I don't know, but when you see those other videos where they're literally enclosed by like soda cans, you wonder if it's something to do with like perception or depth perception or something like that. Like who knows? Like it's just strange. But
Maybe.
so another story about little Carl was my mother-in-law was dog sitting him while his owner was away, and it was during the winter and there was like this big snowstorm outside, and so she had let Bowie at the time and Carl out for like a little jaunt, and Bowie would always come back and scratch at the door, so she let Bowie in, but Carl, took a little bit. Small dogs, they don't go for like, they're not like big dogs and that they go for like one big pee and then they're like, yeah, let's head back inside. They have to like, they have small little bladders and they have to empty it out frequently. So it always takes them a bit longer when they're going outside to do their business. So my mother-in-law let Bowie in and closed the door because Carl needed a bit more time. So anyway, so she goes back in, completely forgets about Carl. And then like a couple of hours later, and thank God it wasn't too cold or anything, she was like, "Where's Carl?" And then she's like, "Oh my God." Like, she's like, "Oh my God, did I forget to let him in?" So she goes and she like opens the door up in a panic and she's like, "Carl!" Like yelling at him in the backyard. And then she sees the snow at her feet move. And he just sat there and
Oh,
didn't bark or scratch or anything. He just
oh
sat there
no.
waiting for her to open the door to the point where the snow went like above his eye level. Like he was completely covered. So she's
Oh.
like, "Carl!" And she just sees this like rip up at her feet. And he's under this
Oh.
like giant pile of snow. Oh my God. Again, is it a weird Shih Tzu thing? Like, would you not think to like bark or like,
Well, maybe
say
he's
something?
just well mannered.
Oh, that made me laugh. Poor Carl. It wasn't cold. Usually when it snows, it's warmer than you think. And if he was fully covered,
Yeah.
snow insulates quite a bit. So
Yeah.
don't go
That's
calling
true.
the SPCA on us. And Carl has long since passed. So
Oh,
and it had nothing to do with
little
the
Carl.
snowstorm, folks, but poor little Carl. I
Oh,
thought that
how
was a
old was
funny
he when
one.
he was like out? Was he
Oh
adult?
my goodness, I can't remember because I can't remember how old he was. And actually, this is going to make me think of another funny story having to do with Carl. So, just like any dog owner, Carl's owner was obsessed with him. Carl went everywhere with his owner, to work, to home, like everywhere. Carl went everywhere with his owner. So when Carl passed, his owner took it devastatingly. So when you it's like losing your best friend, right? And so I guess it's like part of the stages of grieving, but he told us this funny story about how it was like several months after Carl had passed, but like it was obviously still on his mind because it was a nice summer's day, and he was stopping at a coffee shop and he was walking back to his car, and as he was getting into his car there was a car parked next to him and there was a little kid there, and there was like this furry creature like right next to him. So his name is Pierre said, "Oh, is that your dog?" And the kid said, "No, it's my mom." And it was his mom, and she was bending over looking into her purse. And I guess she had short curly
Oh.
hair, so it looked like a Shih Tzu. He's like, "Oh, is that your dog?"
Oh,
And he's
that
like,
is so
"No, it's my
funny.
mom." So if you're grieving the loss of your dog, just take a double look. Like, if you're finding you're seeing him in different
You're
areas.
trying to see him.
Like, yes. That one made me laugh as well. I thought that one was funny.
That was pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. What
Okay, I'm
else you
gonna
got?
share something weird that Wiggum did, and
Okay.
Heidi was a witness to this because
Yes.
he also did it at her house. Remember, I don't know why, but sometimes. So when I got Wiggum, sorry, I'm all over the place here. When I got Wiggum, I had these like lace curtains in my
Oh,
kitchen,
yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
Wiggum would often sit behind them
Mm-hmm.
and like stare, like looking into the kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't know why he did that. He did it with like everywhere. He did it at Heidi's,
Yep.
brought Wiggum to Heidi's, and she had like these like lacy curtains
And you have
or
I
like
think,
kind of
and
like see through,
yes,
and he would just sit behind them.
you have
And
a
I don't,
photo of it.
I do.
Yeah. It should be
I'm
the
gonna have to
photo for this
post it.
episode. It should be the
Yes.
photo for this episode.
And sometimes he would like lie down, and then the lace would just be like resting above his eyes. Like the
like
rest
he
of his body was covered
like
with
he
the
was wearing like a
curtains.
veil, like for a wedding. They kept
Yeah.
calling him the bride, Wiggum the bride.
Yeah. Or even like sitting sometimes, he would have it like just above his, like on his head, and it would drop like across
Yes.
his face, and
I
then he would just be like looking at you. You're like, but
Here
most
comes
of
the
the time he
wigs.
was like completely behind it.
Yes,
And he was kind of like just sitting there, just like, what is he doing?
I do remember
Maybe he
that.
thought like we couldn't see him.
Maybe he's like, can't see me. Can't see me. Maybe they'll go away and then I can make a go for the food again.
Oh,
Oh,
that
so
was
good.
funny.
So good.
Oh, Wiggum.
Is it my turn or did you have another one? Are we skipping ahead? What are we doing?
I can share the roasted chicken story again.
Yes. Yes.
So Wiggum was being dog sat by some friends while I was off on like a day trip, and they didn't know about Wiggum's counter surfing habits. So they left an entire roasted chicken on the counter, and
Mm-hmm.
Wiggum ate all of it. All of
Mm.
it. The bones, the whole chicken.
Not
He
a
licked
drop
the,
left.
yeah, the container was clean. So when I came back from this day trip, they felt really, really bad. And I was off the next day, back to, it was like a 4 hour drive with Wiggum. And he had like a little bit of diarrhea the next day. But then I was like, oh God, like
Yeah.
I have such a long drive to do with him. But he
Yeah.
was fine. Like he never had diarrhea after.
That's crazy.
So I don't know what happened.
Who knows, eh?
Like the day after we were at this barbecue, and Wiggum, like they had a really big yard, so Wiggum was kind of like running around. So I kind of wonder maybe like he puked and we just didn't know.
Oh, it could be.
Like a really big yard and like lots of trees and it was
Oh,
deep.
okay.
So, and they
Yeah.
had a couple of dogs as well, so they were all kind of playing together. But you
Yeah,
think
who
he would have
knows?
been sick more than just
Then
like,
once. Yeah.
yeah,
Huh.
or like more than like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Stomach of steel, that Wiggum.
Some dogs have it and some dogs don't. I can tell you who does not, and that is Lord Gibbonsworth of the third. My little Gibby, you feed him one tiny little speck, like, so he just came back from the cottage just a couple of nights ago,
Oh,
and he didn't. A good like indication for me that he isn't feeling well is when he doesn't sleep in bed with us at night, because it's like he knows. So he sleeps downstairs and he goes to the same spot to barf every time, which is nice because it's on the hardwood floors.
oh, that's good.
But I was like looking and I was like, what is it in this like vomit? Like I was like, what the hell? And it was bird seed. So he had been up at the cottage with my dad, and my dad feeds the birds like nonstop, and there's like tons of it, and all the birds drop all the seeds underneath, and I bet you he just goes there and like hum into the snow because it was full of birdseed. And so I looked it up and it said like if they eat like too much, it definitely like upsets their GI system. And so he's been like not eating his meals and little barfy barfy for the last couple of days.
Ugh,
Yeah, poor Gibbs. Poor
poor
Gibbs.
Gibbs.
All right. Um,
Poor Gibbon.
so I have another couple of stories. If we
Yeah,
got time. If we got
we
time.
do.
I like this one. I think it's so cute. So our friend Nicole, we've mentioned her several times on the show. She
Oh,
has two
yeah.
Goldens, Harper and Avery. And she came over to my house one day in the summer because there's like my neighborhood and then there's one neighborhood over, and in between the two neighborhoods there's like a train track, and then beyond the train track there and in between the two neighborhoods is this big green space, and there's trees and there's trails, and there's like these
Ooh.
awesome people in the other neighborhood that maintain it in the summer. So like this guy has a ride along lawnmower and cuts the grass in the open grass areas, and they do like little things, like they make little things to put on the trees, and like they made this like shrine looking thing in one area. And anyways, it's like cool, and lots of people go there, and it goes on for like kilometers, like in the opposite sort of way. But like from our neighborhood to the next, I want to say it's like, oh, I'm so bad at estimating like space. I want to say it's like two like hockey rinks like wide, but then it goes like super far like the other way. So when you're walking in this area, you can see across the other neighborhood, and some people have fences, but some people's backyards are like literally open to the open space. So when we walk back there, like there's nobody else there. It's like having like a big doggy park like all to yourselves. And I always call it doggy mecca because my dogs just love running. We let them off leash and they run along the trails with us, and there's like big long grass parts, and then there's
Yeah.
short grass parts, and then there's trees they can pee on, and like all kinds of fun stuff. So we go walking back there sometimes. So Nicole had come with me a few times. So this one time she came with, and Nicole has excellent recall like on her dogs. Like I've been to Bruce Pit with her many times. Those girls don't go far. They always listen to her when on the recall. So we're walking through doggy mecca, and her girls take off towards like one of these houses. Okay. And she's like yelling at them because like they are not listening to her. And like she's like just a hollering. Like she is like, girls, get back here right now. Like she's like so upset. So she's like, oh my God, honey. Oh my. And so they not only ran into this person's backyard, but he had a little porched in area and he was smoking meat in this like smoker. And but they didn't touch the meat. Like this guy was sitting on a like sort of patio couch thing, and they jumped right up and were sitting with him on the couch. So Nicole, poor mortified Nicole, she comes in, she's like, I am so sorry, my girls have never, like, she's like, I am so sorry. And she like grabs her dogs or whatever, and the older gentleman's sitting there, he said, I lost my dog last week. And he said, and I'm so happy to have your girls with me. And he was just petting them and like loving them
Oh,
because he missed his doggy. So I
oh,
thought that was so sweet. I said, Nicole, they must have just known. They must have just known
yeah,
that he was lonely and needed
yeah.
some doggy pets or whatever. But anyways, it was funny because after like she got her dogs and we continued the walk, she like we walked up a bit further and she was like, sit, look at me. Now that was really nice of you girls of what you did there, but that could have been a lawsuit. And she's like literally like lecturing her dogs. And I was like just standing behind her, like laughing so hard. That was
Oh,
really nice, but you're not allowed to do that. And you need to listen to mom at all times. Do you understand me? She was
that's
like
so cute.
scolding them like her little fur babies. It was just like so funny. I love it. I love it.
Oh, I've only met Avery and Harper once.
Oh,
They are very cute.
they're so cute. And they love the Haidushka over here. They
Yeah.
like, yeah, sometimes like we've just happened to meet up in like Bruce Pit before. And it's like when they hear my voice, it's like ears up and they come over. And Harper like cries for me. She's like,
Oh, so
and
cute.
she chatters the teeth. It's like super cute. And I
Oh,
try to become, okay, girls, okay, okay, it's okay, it's
soon
okay.
you're gonna have three goldies.
I know. I can't wait. All right, last story. And I know I've shared it before, but it's one of my faves. Scraps and my father were on one of their many weekends that they were spending together at the cottage. And they were sitting inside the cottage together, and all of a sudden, Scraps starts barking, which he doesn't normally do. So my dad's like, all right, you want to go for a walk? Okay, let's go, let's go. So he walks up our driveway, and normally they go to the left where there's trails and stuff because we have property in behind, like where cottage is. But Scraps went running to the right. So my dad was like, okay, all right, fine, we can go this way or whatever. So my dad follows him, and they walk up the road, and a branch had fallen on the power lines and caught fire, and several trees were now
Oh,
catching fire. So my dad was like, oh my God, and like ran back to the cottage. He called like the fire department because like our cottage is like in the middle of nowhere. Like the closest proximity like town is like several kilometers away. So they had to call like the volunteer firefighters in, and the fire was catching closer and closer to like one of the other cottages, like and stuff like that. And then the fire department came and they put the fire out. And so, anyway, so I'm sitting at home and the phone rings and I'm like, hello. My dad's like, your dog's a hero. Your dog's a hero. Scraps is a hero. He saved the day. He was like so excited.
he did.
He's like, I'm going to put in an application for a Medal of Honor. He saved the cottage development. And he like told, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, what happened? What happened? And he slowed down and told me the whole story. But yes, we were very proud of Scraps.
Oh, way to go,
he
Scraps.
he must have smelled something was wrong. We always call Scraps the littlest hobo because he would take off at the cottage and we wouldn't know what adventures he got himself to, but we'd hear
Oh,
about them sometimes later in the day. People would be like, oh, Scraps came with me for my jog this morning.
oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he was sort of the community dog up at the cottage. Everybody knew Scrappy and they loved him. They loved him. Oh, my Scrappy. Oh, my Scrappy.
Little Scrappy.
And that's
Oh,
all I got for stories. We'll have to do another one of these because I'm sure everybody's got a funny dog story or a cute dog
yeah.
story or a hero dog story.
Hero dog story.
You
How can
can
we get
be.
doggies into like the mayor? How can we do this in Ottawa? I don't
Oh
think
my
that would.
goodness.
Can
I
you
don't know.
imagine?
Our mayor's pretty good. He's pretty well liked.
I
You'd have
know.
to like mess
It
up
wouldn't
big
work
time.
here.
Yeah.
Maybe my little like hometown, it would work.
Maybe by the time like the mayoral candidacy is up again, maybe I'll have my big cane Corso, and we can run her for mayor.
Yeah.
We can put in an
Her.
election and see what
Ooh.
happens. I think we'll get a girl. I
Yeah.
tend to go
Yeah.
boy girl, back and forth.
For
Have a little
Gibbon.
mix for Gibbon, a girlfriend for Gibbon.
So 3 weeks and I get my puppy.
Oh my goodness.
Puppies.
Popeye! Popeye! Popeye!
Yeah, I have pretty much everything now. I just have to order some food
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
I can't wait to introduce your Popeye. Is your
I
Popeye
know.
gonna join us on the podcast? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, three
Stay
weeks.
tuned for Popeye stories.
Yeah. There's going to be lots of puppy stories.
I cannot wait to meet your leggy blonde.
Short leggies
Short little leggies.
to start.
All right, is that a wrap for
Okay.
today?
That is a wrap for today.
We'll see you next time on Let's Boop Snoots.
On Let's Boop Snoots. Boop. Bye.